Hello and welcome to the Pivx Budget Conference Call. I am your host, CryptoSI, and this is the February 2019 call. So basically what this call is all about is it gives proposal owners the chance to put their proposals forward and discuss their proposals in decent depth with the community. We're aiming for the call to be 1 hour long, and we have got three very, very special guests with us for this call. They are Zenzo, which is searching for a possible alliance with Pivx. We also have Angelo Dodaro. I hope I haven't butchered your name too badly, Angelo, who is proposing to be our new marketing guy. And last but not least, we have Localcoinswap. And then if we do get time, I will speak a little bit about the Tango proposal concept website that we've got. So without any further ado, I will move on to our first guests, which are Zenzo. Zenzo is represented by Joseph Bryce. Joseph, how are you, sir?
I'm well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Joseph, thank you so much for joining us. Could you start by telling us very briefly a little bit about your project, please?
Yeah, so first and foremost, I want to thank everybody here for taking the time to join and support the Pivx community and also listen to what we're talking about. And I do have either Tendo or B if I do get dropped, because I am in transit, because this is kind of a last minute thing, and I'm in New York for business. So if I do get dropped, one of them will pick up, and I apologize if I do, and I'll try to hop back on as soon as possible. But getting to the point, so Zenzo, we are a team focused on building products that are for the gamer, by the gamer. And so what I mean by that is we're building a plethora of different projects that focus on eliminating some of the issues that we see in the gamer space as gamers ourselves, and also as professionals in the business world. So one of the biggest things that we're looking to eliminate is the recycling of popular titles, and not in a bad way where we want to say, hey, don't make Battlefields anymore, don't make Call of Duties anymore, but we want to give a platform that lets people actually speak and have governance and choice and decision in what games are being made, and have some creative input as well. And we see this whole kind of system in this world where we're playing these titles over and over again. And anybody that's from the early days of gaming knows that back then everything was just genre breaking. There was always something new and fun and exciting. And then over the last decade, it's really gotten dull. And now we're just seeing, the last two real game changing items were battle royale games and MOBAs. And so everybody's now trying to take these and just say, okay, well, let's do a new one, a new battle royale or a new MOBA, and nothing's really beating the classics because they're so damn good. And so there's a lot of different ways we're attacking this problem, and I'll try to keep it as short and simple since I know there's only an hour here. So there's basically a trifecta of what we're building into this kind of spectrum. So the first thing that we're doing in the series of products that we're building, which is actually already going into the testing phase, and we already have some stuff put up there thanks to Kitty, who's also a member of Pivx. We have a marketplace. So we'll actually be listing games there for discounted prices that are hard to find at other places, just as a kind of a gift out to our community to really be involved. And we want to do some community growth stuff on that end where we can really engage everybody and play with the community and be interactive, because we don't think you see enough of that in the communities in the crypto space. And then we're also building this into an arcade. So we're looking at establishing this whole network of an indie development platform for arcade style games for the old school gamers like Tendo and Snappy and I. And then we're also building a platform where we have green one. Sorry. And then we're building a platform also where we'll have some of the famous classics like the Mega Mans and the Street Fighters for people to play. And that's kind of the network where we're just really utilizing this to just engage the community and be active within the community and play with our friends and grow that space. So then this is also going to feed into what we have which is called a hatchery. And our hatchery is where we're actually going to be self-publishing and helping independent developers build new games that are genre breaking. And so what that'll look like is essentially people will, similar to this call we're having now, come with proposals and they'll send us their idea of a genre-breaking game and how it can incorporate things like Zenzo and companies that we're allied with. And we'll tie these into these proposals in the governance system. We might pick the best 5 games per se, and then we'll have a voting system where people can analyze and tell us what games they would really like to play from this. And we'll also be creating a voice for these people where they can communicate with these developers and help move the game along to what the player actually wants to see, instead of having this central kind of dictatorship over the games. Again, seeing this recycled nature of products where you get bored really fast. So, and the biggest reason for that is because nobody has a voice in gaming besides the major publisher. So that's the short on that side. And then we're also building a free marketplace where we're really focusing on not only engaging the esports side of this, where people can build the tournament rules and help have a say in the tournament rules instead of a central authority. We're also making a way that people can monetize their time that they've spent in games, and it's not an inflation process like you might see in some of the other ones that just hand out tokens for a gameplay, for example. Ours will be more so built through the free marketplace. So, for example, we're building a game that will engage spectators, and spectators can actually earn something with monetary value. Sorry, you're hearing my authoritative voice now. That's my dog. Hey, stop. All right, sorry, let me snatch her up. She'll stop barking. I'm now walking around with the dog in one arm, so there's an image for you guys. So anyways, we're also looking at building this system on the tournaments where you, the user, can build them and monetize your own tournaments through our system, and put these rules up where everybody will be able to vote on them and really help move esports along in a way that hasn't been before, where it's really involving the community as more than just a spectator, but also as the rule makers. So there's this whole platform that's kind of being built around that. And then the free marketplace that will tie back into our arcade marketplace where you see the games, as you'll be able to take things like skins and games and things like that and actually trade it for something with monetary value, instead of going to Amazon to try and sell Warcraft or World of Warcraft gold, or selling a skin or something like that for Steam bucks. You can actually sell it for something that has monetary value. And you don't have to be a professional player to have some monetary gain for your time spent. So that's the short version of what we're building. I'll leave it at that for now.
Okay, that's that's brilliant. So could you tell us a little bit about your project's lifespan? Like, how long have you guys have been going, and what technology is your project built on?
Well, of course, it's built on none other than the Pivx platform. But yeah, so we've been around for about a year now. Some of us have been working together in the space for quite a while, and that's actually how I kind of got involved in the Zenzo project. Is I've been doing some work with B, who's a terrific designer, as I'm sure many of the people in here have seen at this point. So,
okay. Also, what would be? I'm just reading the questions off of the list that we had submitted. So,
sure.
What would be the scope of any alliance between Zenzo and Pivx?
So there's a lot of different places that I see that we can really evolve. And I think that we're one of probably the rare projects where we really have a lot of different avenues that we can kind of tap into Pivx, and Pivx can tap into us as well. So I think there's the obvious nature of kind of assisting in the development of not only the community, but the products themselves. So there's always that avenue that would be extremely helpful. And there's also the avenue for just community co-branding, really, and building our communities together and involving each other in this tournament system and the esports system, and going all the way to like Snappy and I had mentioned in the past, something like if we had esports teams that were crypto representative for Pivx and Zenzo, and we have this environment, it would be a really great branding opportunity for us on both sides. So that's one aspect of it. And then the other aspect is I and some of the other gentlemen in the team also have a lot of resources for really good marketing materials and things in like CGI and film. So I'm also a filmmaker. So I work with a lot of commercial developers and CGI people and things like that I can really tap in for much, much cheaper prices than you can get anywhere else on, at least in response to talent. So there's a lot of things like that we'd be looking to also kind of bridge that network and really grow our community together, not only from the the users that are purchasing the cryptocurrencies or using our products, but also from the people on the back end that do business with us in all of the businesses that we have ventures of.
Okay. At this point, what I'm going to do is open up the floor to anybody on the call who has got any questions for Joseph about anything that he just said, anything about Zenzo or anything like that. Has anyone got any questions?
The silence, man.
This is when everyone gets really shy, and then about 3 people decide to speak at once. Has anyone got any questions? Don't be shy, guys.
Joseph, what kind of dog do you have?
Oh, well, that was a silver dapple miniature dachshund you heard barking. She sounds a lot bigger than she is, but she's got a mouth on her. She earned it. 13 years you earned that mouth, I guess.
Okay, I've got a question, actually. Well, would it be possible for Pivx to feature as a currency on your upcoming marketplace?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. That's actually something that kind of went over my mind in the oversight. So that's actually one of the goals that we have too, is we're obviously looking to accept Bitcoin, and then we would love to incorporate Pivx as well in that kind of gaming environment that we have for a payment system. And there's other ways that we can also, of course, discuss how that could be utilized in our ecosystem, being interactive with our video games and things like that we're actually publishing as well, outside of just the marketplace itself.
Okay. Also, usually when we put these alliances together, we try to have 2 people who are points of contact from each side. Have you already decided who are going to be the 2 people as points of contact from Zenzo side? And have you approached any people from the Pivx side to be points of contact from the Pivx side with regards to this alliance?
Yeah. So in regards to the alliance, so we've spoken with you, CryptoSI, and then Snappy as well. And Snappy was the kind of main point of contact initially, and then Pivx actually works, or excuse me, Pivx, Pivx. I can't even speak anymore. Kitty's actually working with both projects, so he's also a nice connector for us there as well. And then on our side, you have actually 3 of us that you can really communicate with. So we're always open. We're kind of an arm of our own. If you talk to Urine B or Tendo or I, we're all always talking. We're always on chats together. So any of us are valid people to reach out to if you have any questions on the overall functionality of what we're building. Some of it's still a little bit secretive, and we're going to have some really good stuff coming out in the weeks to come, letting everybody know how we're doing certain things that we're doing. And we have some special announcements on people that we're actually bringing on as well. But those are the points of contact between us.
Okay, from Pivx's side, what would you request of Pivx? Are you anticipating payments towards developing or help with developing or anything like that? Or would it just be promotion and endorsement? What would you expect from Pivx?
Well, so whenever somebody asks me what do I expect from anything, I'm kind of an open-minded person, and that I'm always willing to work with the teams. And I don't like to go in per se with specific set expectations, because I think there's so much creative process between a partnership that's strategic that we can really advance what it is we're doing. And while resources, fiscal resources, monetary resources are always valuable, and we could certainly put them to good use, I think the number one thing we'd be interested in is the co-branding and actually having assistance on the development side. So wherever that comes from, whether it be monetary donations on the Pivx side, where we have so many different avenues that we can create business relationships on that end, or whether it comes from just the developers on Pivx actually assisting us with things, we would love it either way.
Okay, I'm going to bring in Snappy without any warning, just because Snappy's a respected and well-known member of the Pivx community. So, and he was mentioned as one of your initial contact points within Pivx. Yes. So, Snappy, do you mind letting us know what your thoughts are on the Zenzo project and how you feel, or why you feel it would be a good fit for an alliance?
You know way better than to give me a microphone, CryptoSI, but
this meeting just went to 2 hours.
Yeah, by the way, Snappy, you've only got 5 minutes to answer this question.
So if given the liberty of a chance to share, as many of you know, I follow flows of energy, and I don't say that lightly. It's something I take very seriously. So, how a person communicates, the way in which they communicate to their actions, etc., all of that I sort of process and filter. Partially because I believe that all of us are connected at the core. So, a lot of us tend to reflect and resemble our inner cores, and then what's going on in the external. All that to say, it's been incredible watching and observing and interacting with some of the members from Zenzo, getting to know them, seeing a lot of what I'll say similar resonances that we experience in Pivx, right? So people that just are willing to jump in, people that are willing to collaborate, to share sort of on a full trust spectrum. And that isn't because it's a specific project, right? It's because it's people. And specifically, it's people that have dug a little deeper into themselves and are thus willing to be a little bit more, what we would say, vulnerable out to the larger world, right? So when you then apply that within a project like Pivx and or Zenzo, you start to have people that are willing to collaborate a lot quicker. They're not necessarily worried so much about, oh, you're on my turf or I'm on your turf. It's a, we're in this together. You know, we might have arrived by different boats, but we can all get on the same ship together, right? And that's kind of the same energy that I found in Zenzo. So a lot of what I saw emerging is just an open dialogue and discussion about, well, now that we're here, what can we build together? And not met with resistance, but rather a mutual exploration of what's possible. And then we can backfill and figure out, okay, what does that look like from quote unquote brass tacks, right? Is that Pivx supporting from marketing, branding and co-branding? Is it, you know, monetary? Is it devs? And then vice versa. All of that is sort of on the table for dialogue, and that's what I greatly appreciated. So, and you know, just from a perspective of, okay, what's in one camp, what's in the other camp. You know, Pivx sort of having a larger market share, a little bit more of an awareness out in the crypto realms can provide that rapidly. And then on the flip, now you have another use case for Pivx in an ecosystem, and that also helps that ecosystem grow in awareness and so forth and so on. So.
Okay, thank you, Snappy. What I will just add to that is that recently we've had a tip bot created, and there has been quite a lot of usage of it, and it has helped the community kind of become more active and a little bit more jovial. Spirits have been a bit higher, and the tip bot was actually made by JS Kitty, who is here. If you want to say a few words about the alliance, you can, as you're obviously a person who's in both camps. I am aware that you're not as much of a microphone hog as Snappy is.
Hey, watch it.
Yep. Okay. Okay. So yeah, JS Kitty. Very briefly, as we've got literally 1 minute left. Is there anything else you'd like to add on the positives or negatives for the alliance between Pivx and Zenzo?
Yeah, sure. Just a brief one. So basically, like Snappy said, with Pivx being somewhat larger and having a nice market share, and with Zenzo now having a working use case and having planning and applications actually being built on top of its own coin platform, I think it would be a really nice sync together with Pivx and Zenzo. So essentially, we would be bringing more, what do I call it, like syncs, so people can spend Pivx essentially if we integrate it into the gaming world, which right now there is very little of. And with Zenzo, it would be helpful for us with the relations in this extra market share. So really, they're the biggest points I see in the benefits that we both get.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you very much, JS Kitty, and thank you to Zenzo. Before I move on, Joseph is there finally. Anything else you would like to say?
Yeah, just one more thing, and it's kind of piggybacking off what Snappy had said earlier, that I think when it comes down to the energy connection between the two organizations is that we really strongly identified with Pivx because we both seek out that community side of actually building and bringing everybody together in the crypto space, not only for our own benefit, but to actually grow the space and awareness and really work together instead of everything being direct competition with anything that you're forked off of or things of that nature. And furthermore, I just wanted to thank you all for participating and listening to what we had to say and inviting us in. We really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you very much, Joseph. I'm going to move on, but looking forward to seeing what comes out of this possible alliance. If anybody is interested in Zenzo, they can go to the website at zenzo.io. I'm going to put the link to that in the description for this when we do publish it, and I'm also going to probably put a link to your Discord as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming in. Thanks so much for putting your proposal forward so eloquently.
Thank you.
I'm going to move on next. I'm going to move on next to the one and only Angelo Dodaro. Angelo, are you there, sir?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hello, Angelo. Okay, so Angelo is put forward a video marketing initiative. That's the proposal that is up for grabs at the moment. I think our Superblock Day is like tomorrow. But anyway, Angelo, I'm going to hand over to you and you can explain to us all a little bit more about your proposal.
100%. Thank you. And really appreciate the time here, guys, and love that there are these calls, excuse me, to have these discussions because I think it's a really valuable exercise in a decentralized organization like Pivx. So I'll tell you a little bit about the video marketing initiative, what the plan is around that, where it's at right now, and what we hope for that to accomplish. And so if you haven't already seen the proposal on the forum, I'll just quickly summarize it for you. There's two components of it, which equal out to a weekly video. And one half of the project is a bi-weekly, what we're calling the Pivx Roundtable. And so this is a live stream discussion within the community that will have rotating guests and different themes, and also addressing any questions that come up in the community. We've created a Google form, and the purpose of this form is when somebody has a question that maybe requires a more in-depth answer, something that won't be satisfied with a quick Discord chat. That's what this forum is for. It's to really kind of dive a little bit deeper, and it's what we see it as is a way to kind of like what we're doing here is to bring the community in and focus on the different topics and having some sort of actionable, I guess you could say tasks or just even a drive that comes out of it. Because what I find, especially in the crypto space, people are very passionate, especially about a project like Pivx. There's so much passion and there's so much great things going on that it can be hard to decide what to focus on and where to focus that attention and energy. And one of the things that we see the roundtable being really effective for is to just kind of slow things down and focus on one thing at a time and be able to better empower people in the community to contribute as much or as little as they want, but giving them more tools to be able to do that efficiently and effectively. And one last thing on that, what I've seen in the crypto space is that people who evangelize a project, they get very excited about that project. But what's really challenging to do from a marketing perspective is getting those people who are really excited also equipped with the right knowledge so that when they share that excitement with the next person where they're saying, hey, you need to hear about Pivx, it's a great project, being able to equip those people so they can do the Pivx pitch better so it has a higher probability of leaving an impression on that person and actually getting them interested in Pivx. That's something that requires a lot more, thinking and kind of an active role. And so I think if there's one thing I'd love for the roundtable to accomplish is to be able to better empower the people in the community to have the tools they need to get other people outside of the community in. So the other video effort is the bi-weekly YouTube series. It's called What's Poppin' with Pivx. It's hosted by Kelsey Cole. And so Kelsey, she's not here on this call right now, but she's a new global ambassador for Pivx, for a brand ambassador. And so these videos are shot in a studio and it's every other week. So it's staggered against the roundtable. And the purpose of these are not to, unlike the roundtable, which is more geared at informing people inside the community, these videos are meant to have a bit of a broader appeal. So the topics aren't, they aren't on the surface Pivx centric. They're speaking to issues outside of Pivx that are relevant to the benefits that Pivx has, the unique benefits. For example, the big topic in the media and especially a negative topic that the media likes to bring up over and over again is that Bitcoin is going to lead to the apocalypse because of the amount of energy it consumes. And we strongly believe that one of the big benefits of Pivx that's interesting on a mass level is how proof of stake and Pivx's particular approach is more environmentally friendly, and kind of what that means and how that improves or how that helps things in the long term. And so one of the first videos that we have scheduled is really speaking to that particular topic. And it's not positioned in the video description as like, hey, look at how Pivx is so great. It's positioned in a way where it's talking about the Bitcoin problem that people are discussing. And so they click on the video about a halfway to even 2/3 of the way through. That's when they start to learn about Pivx, because they've had that few minutes to be primed on why Pivx is needed in the first place. Because another thing that we've noticed a lot is that people too quickly dismiss any project, but in the case of Pivx, they'll just say, "Oh, well, Monero already does that, or Dash already does that." And people inside Pivx know how short-sighted those kinds of comments are, but unfortunately, we're kind of operating in a space where short-sighted due diligence is the norm. So how do we use clever methods to overcome that, and really again just kind of bring people in and help them see, at least from one angle at a time, the reasons why Pivx is a leader, not just in proof of stake and privacy, but in cryptocurrency, period. So that's really what we hope to accomplish with that video series. CryptoSI, did you want me to talk a little bit about the other proposals that we have that are active, or did you just want to talk about the video?
Well, I don't think, when I checked, I didn't see any of the other proposals were active. I only saw this one. So I tell you what, let's save the other proposals for the next one, unless they are active and I missed them. Are they active now and I missed them?
Yeah, there's one for PR and a marketing and branding audit.
Okay, I'll tell you what then. Well, let's do the marketing and branding one then, if
Perfect.
you want to describe that one.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll be brief here because I know there's not a ton of time, and this is still developing, and I'm keeping everybody posted on both the forum and in Discord on each milestone with this, all these proposals. But the marketing and branding audit, the purpose of that really is diving deeper into what marketing objectives are needed to best position Pivx in 2019, and mapping out the steps that we think should be taken to get there. So, obviously we want to have Pivx as indisputably the number one leader in privacy coins, and that being a known fact throughout the crypto sphere, but also, taking its rightful position back in the top 10. And so we're looking very, very closely. Actually, we're almost done the competitive analysis of roughly 10 total projects that share similar qualities to Pivx, and looking at what they're doing and trying to figure out what's working and also what's not working. And so we're looking at the community sentiment to see what is it that the community is talking about, what are the things that are being repeated often, and trying to find patterns there. And also moving to look at like the comparison of how many posts are they doing versus how many posts Pivx are doing. What is the nature of the content that is performing well on those on their social platforms, et cetera, that sort of stuff. And then looking at Pivx's own channels, analyzing web traffic, social media data, et cetera. I won't go too in depth because it starts to get a little bit nerdy, but basically, how do we be better and what do we need to be saying to get people hooked in sooner. And one of the other efforts that we have around that is doing a survey to the community. That we've done a 1-question survey. It's actually used for this week's, the first roundtable is going to be this upcoming week. And that was just one question, simply asking people, what is it that they feel makes Pivx special? And, not trying to inundate people, just saying like, hey, what is the one thing to you? Like when you think about Pivx, why is it special? And it's pretty cool to see the responses and kind of the consistency that has emerged, and then some of the unexpected things, which we'll talk about on this week's roundtable. Anyways, that's in a nutshell with the marketing and branding audit. Once that is complete, we're going to have that presented in a video format along with a slideshow, like a deck presentation in a PDF document that will be accessible to the whole community. So we won't just dump the report. We'll have like a video that we create walking through and talking about it and just kind of elaborating a bit on our thoughts on the findings.
Okay. Angelo, what was your background prior to working in crypto? And do you have any other experience working with any other crypto projects?
Yeah. So before crypto, I've been in marketing for about the last 10 years and very, very, very heavily focused on content marketing, the social media world, and then progressing into the advertising side. So a lot of Facebook, Instagram, Google ads. Facebook and Instagram is kind of where I started to find a specialty. But really fascinated in how content that helps people can sell things. And that's something that continues to fascinate me to this day and drives me. And so it's, some of the tools that I use for that have been Facebook, Google ads, blogs, whatever. But really I look at it a little more holistically than that, because I'm also a creative and have done a lot of video work and photography work. And, I'm just by nature a very creative guy. So, I've worked with big companies, small companies, some companies that you may know. I helped create some of the social media content for Tesla when they launched the Model X in Canada, which was pretty cool and one of my highlights, I would say. And companies like the Toronto International Film Festival, et cetera. Within regards to working in crypto, I'm a co-founder of a company called AdBank, and we did an ICO, I guess a year ago as of last month. And I did all the marketing with Kelsey, who's also my partner on the Pivx proposals. And we advised some other crypto projects as well. We've consulted as well. We helped Celsius Network. I'm not sure if any of you guys are familiar, but it's a project run by the creator of VoIP. So we helped them during their ICO. And I feel like I'm missing somebody, which is terrible. But, the crypto space is something that we're extremely passionate about. We are very strong believers that blockchain is going to change the world, and it has so much place to fix a lot of the world's biggest problems. I tried buying my first Bitcoin years ago, but it was very sketchy. And I'm sure you guys know the whole fallout of the Quadriga Canada exchange. That was literally the exchange that we had to use to buy Bitcoin, because there was nothing else available, at least nothing that had any even whiff of liquidity. So, we've been around the block a few times in the crypto world, and started actually a few years ago when we helped Bill Ty and Richard Branson launch the social media accounts for their Extreme Tech Challenge. And they were telling us about Bitcoin and Ethereum, and it kind of just started from there. So hopefully I didn't ramble on too long there, but happy to answer any other questions.
Has anybody else got any questions for Angelo at this point?
I have one.
Okay, go ahead.
My background is in marketing as well. I'm helping out Zenzo, and I'm one of their marketing directors. My question is, you mentioned a lot about creating content and, all the brand building and whatnot. What is your ideas behind creating a better community or a bigger community? Typically, I guess my background is I am an influencer as well, and I reach, I think, like tens of millions of people per month. and creating a community to feed the content to is extremely important. So I was wondering if that was on your roadmap as well.
Yeah. So for me, my belief is very strongly that one of the largest hindrances to building community is a lack of simplifying communication. And so what I really work hard to do, and what we're really trying to figure out within the projects that we're doing, is how do we simplify the message of what Pivx is doing, that's the aspects of it that are appealing to people, in a way that it's easy for those individuals to tell other people. Because that's the effect that we need to, I guess, if we were increasing the conversion rate of something, it's increasing the conversion rate of somebody discovering what Pivx is, or that it even exists, and then actually making that step to joining the community. And so we kind of break down what are the steps in between those different, the steps between those steps, if you will. And usually, well, almost always, the problem comes down to just people not really fully grasping, because there's a bit of an information overload, or like I was saying before, the people who are excited, when they parlay that excitement to the next person, or they're talking about it in a Facebook group or in a Telegram group, they may not feel fully equipped or be fully equipped to actually get somebody else interested and create that same state of excitement. So, in terms of building the community, really, we see the first step being trying to identify and clearly encapsulate what it is that people love about Pivx, simplifying that message, and then trying different pieces of content, in this case, specifically video, and seeing what is actually generating the result that we want. So I can be more specific if you feel that was too vague.
No, I mean, that was sufficient, and I appreciate you taking the time to answer. I do have more questions, but I'll let it go because I know we're running out of time.
Thank you, Manny. That's very considerate. We've got one. I'm going to ask one of the last questions on here. We've got about 3 more, but I'm going to only ask one. Angelo, the cost of the videos, back to the video tutorials, the cost of the videos is around 10,000 PIV over 3 months, which is just over 3,000 PIV per month. That seems steep for 2 vids and 2 live streams. How do you justify this valuation, which is quite expensive in comparison to other proposals, which run just over 500 PIV for 2 per month?
Yeah, for sure. So first off, with what's popping with Pivx video, there's one-time expenses in there with regards to creating video assets. So a logo has to be created, animations for that logo have to be created, and those can be used over time again and again. So this particular proposal, I think, I'm ballparking, but I believe 1,000 PIV of the total was dedicated to those assets. Again, don't quote me on that, but it's roughly about that amount. So part of it is the film pre-recorded video is very high. So we're shooting that professional studio, probably with about $15,000 or so of gear, if I was about to ballpark. Professional lighting, the editing process, the script writing process, the planning, with everything associated, it ends up being a fair bit of time. So we want to make sure that when we're distilling something, especially a message that has to be repeated and shared out there, that, we're putting in the time that's required to do that right, or else it's just wasted money. So in our experience, that this is, I would say, honestly, the lowest that we would be able to do it for, while still being able to stand by the integrity of that product. In terms of the live streams, that's substantially lower production because it's meant to have that authentic feel. And the resources and time based on that, you don't really want to completely fly by the seat of your pants. You want to have some of that freedom in there. But, it is a complex sort of thing trying to encapsulate this. So we want to make sure that we were able to commit the amount of time that we thought was necessary to make sure that job was done right.
Okay, thank you, Angelo. I don't know if everybody else got that sound through properly, but for me it was very choppy. But I did get a portion of it. I appreciate the response, and just because we're running out of time, what I will say is that I'll probably comment on the forums, which is probably the best place to look at these proposals and watch them continue. So we'll probably take the conversation from here onto the forums, because there are some other questions that I do want to ask, but I appreciate they're probably not questions you can just answer off the bat without anything. So Angela, unless there's anything else you want to add, I'm pretty ready to move on. So is there anything else you want to add, Angelo?
That's it for now. Yeah, the forums is great, and we can always get back to any questions there in a pretty timely fashion.
Brilliant. Okay. Just very briefly, very briefly, does anybody else have any questions?
We can always ask the questions in the forum, correct?
Yeah, of course. It would probably be better if you did at this point. So yeah, that would be great.
All right. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Manny. All right, guys. Now on to the last but surely not least project for this call. It is Localcoinswap, and for Localcoinswap here we have Nathan and Daniel. Yes, Daniel is here. Okay, Nathan, I'll go with you first. Nathan, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. And Daniel, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here, and I'm great, thanks, Carl.
Okay, all right. So, which one of you wants to speak? Shall we go with Daniel? You're the CEO, aren't you?
I'm the COO of the project. Nathan's more the brainchild of the project, but I'll just give a bit of an introduction and an overview, and then I'll let Nathan.
I don't mind, Daniel, if you want me to start.
Oh yeah, I'll get Nathan to start.
All right.
Okay. All right, guys. Right. So we've got Nathan will start to introduce Localcoinswap for us. Nathan, take it away.
Yeah. So hi everyone. My name's Nathan. I'm the Chief Technical Officer of Localcoinswap. So I'm one of the founders of the project. I've been here from the very beginning. I helped conceptualize the initial idea, and I wrote the white paper, but the entire team kind of helped with the conceptualization of the ideas in the white paper. And my role specifically is to oversee the technical development of the platform. And specifically, my specialty in development is building wallet systems. But I do full stack, so I do a bit of everything. Like I'm not above tweaking CSS when it needs to be tweaked. But so Localcoinswap to me is three things. I mean, firstly, it's an exchange. Secondly, it's a vision. And most importantly, it's a community. So our exchange is a peer-to-peer exchange. It's if you've ever used local Bitcoins, it's a similar concept, but we support a much wider variety of cryptocurrencies. And we're also a vision. So beyond just the exchange itself, we have a token model that's behind the exchange. And we use our token with a dividend distribution system to distribute the profits made from trading on the exchange. So we've sort of brought a token model and combined that with the exchange that we have. And most importantly, we're a community. I mean, we've probably got one of the most active communities out of any of the projects I've really seen. If you jump on our Telegram, there's always a lot of chat going on. We've got a lot of super passionate and really active people behind the project, and our community is sort of what really makes the project what it is. And the community, as a little bit like Pivx, is also involved in the governance of the project. We actually do voting on the blockchain to make crucial decisions to do with how we run the project. So we've got a similar sort of a decentralized governance structure to what you guys have here. We ran a ICO in early 2018. It was successful, and we breached soft cap, and we did pretty well given the declining market. And we launched a working minimum viable product in August last year. So we've had a working exchange up for quite some time, but our official hard launch is at the end of this month. So the final launch is coming up and fast approaching. But one of the reasons I'm excited to be working with Pivx is because I see a lot of similarities in the governance aspect of what you're doing. I mean, right now I'm in a call with 30 people and you're all making decisions together. And we've got a similar dynamic with our Telegram and Discord group. I mean, if you come on and check it out, you'll see a sort of similar thing where everything's public, it's very transparent, and everything's being discussed, and everyone's sort of voting to make decisions together. And beyond just the governance aspect, I think Pivx has some great structure with the way that you're developing this project. I mean, I had a really great chat the other day with Carl about the development process, and it's really clear that he's on the ball with everything that you're doing. I mean, I think I was explaining about that we were talking about how long it would take to implement Pivx on Localcoinswap. I threw out a figure of 6 weeks, and Carl stopped me and he said, "Look, I don't like to put timeframes on this thing. I don't give dates, I give updates." And I laughed and I said, it sounds really great to work for you, because that's really 180 to the kind of position that I've always been in. I've always sort of developed these really tight schedules, and it's always been really, really stressful. But I thought about that quite a bit actually after our call. And after hearing the way that things are run here, it's clear to me that the Pivx team deeply understands the optimal development process. And most importantly, you understand how to handle a decentralized development process. So yeah, just based on my chat with Carl the other day, it's clear there's a lot of value and learning opportunities for me personally within this community. So yeah, thanks to everyone here for having me. I see a lot of synergies between our projects, and I'm excited to see how things progress.
Okay, thank you very much, Nathan. Daniel, was there anything you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, so I'd just like to add, along with all the great synergies that Nathan sort of mentioned about the project, along with the listing of Pivx, I think one of the great things about a peer-to-peer exchange is it's a great fit for trading masternode coins, and there's a few reasons for that. I'm sure everyone here realizes when trying to purchase masternode coins, if you're trying to purchase a whole masternode at once, you often suffer a bit of price slippage. Sometimes you have to buy part nodes at a time. A lot of coins are sort of only available on some smaller exchanges. I know Pivx isn't like that, but some of these other masternode coins. So at Localcoinswap, we're going to have a big focus and a big section of the platform focused on trading masternode coins, because users will be able to trade whole nodes at once. They won't have to drive up the price when purchasing or when selling full masternodes. So I think that is also makes Pivx a really great fit for listing on LCS, and really it could be a big focus along with the community aspect.
Does anybody have any questions for the guys at Localcoinswap?
Yeah, I have a couple questions here, guys. How's it going? It's John M here.
Oh, yes. Let me just explain that John M is our resident exchange expert. He's the guy who does all the big deals. So yeah, John, go ahead.
So just a quick question here. We see exchanges nowadays promising like no KYC or no KYC at sign up. And then we see sites like Local Bitcoin starting to implement KYC policies. What sort of records do you guys keep on these trades if you're not implementing KYC, and how are you able to get around that?
If you guys are answering, you're still on mute. Daniel, if you're answering, you're going to have to unmute. There you go.
Oh, sorry. So currently, the only KYC that's conducted during trades is between traders themselves. So some traders require KYC for a whole variety of reasons, depending on sort of where they're trading, where they're situated, what sort of cryptocurrencies they're trading, and there's sort of limits that they're trading in. So as a platform ourselves, we don't take any KYC from any of our users. And we don't keep any KYC information from our users, of course, given that we don't take it. So the only things that people need to sign up to our exchange is a email address and a password. And on top of that, people can offer extra verification by verifying their email addresses, their phone numbers. Their phone numbers on top of that. But no, we don't take or keep any KYC information from any of our traders.
All right.
Yeah, so just to sort of expand a little bit on what Daniel said, it's sort of like a jurisdiction by jurisdiction thing, because we're not actually holding fiat currency for users or like facilitating any transfer of fiat currency ourselves. So, for example, if you have like a trader in America, there might be like laws in America about that one trader has to take KYC information from the other trader, and that's fine. Like, we expect that all traders on our platform will follow the rules of their relevant jurisdiction, whereas traders in other countries will have different rules that apply for them. Like, for example, in Australia, you need a registration with AUSTRAC to do trading, and some countries you don't need anything. So yeah, the platform itself doesn't take any KYC, but obviously like the traders on the platform might need to take KYC from each other depending on where they're located.
All right, so just a quick scenario. So say I send ZPIV into the exchange and I want to do trades there, I want to sell it. What information do you keep on me, and is that able to be subpoenaed in the country that you're in, or is that off limits, or do you not even keep those?
the only information we have from you is like, for example, your email address, or if you verify your phone number, then we have your phone number. If you have an open trade, then we have like the active conversations from your trades. But obviously, after the trade is closed, then we delete it. So we don't actually we don't have any, we're not taking or storing any KYC information or even like your name. But yeah, like obviously we're registered in Hong Kong and we comply with the laws of Hong Kong, but we don't really have much that could even be subpoenaed if we were asked.
All right. Thanks for the answer there, guys.
Okay. I'm just going to assume that's music to John M's ears, or we may worry about how that legal setup stands up, I guess. But we've got some. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Just one last question, but I just had a bit of a brain fart when trying to think of it.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead, and if I think of it, I'll interrupt again politely.
Okay, well, we're not going to move on from. Okay, go on. Do you remember, John? If you remember, you can ask it now.
So, how does your guys' escrow dispute resolution work, and what does that look like?
Daniel, do you want to answer, or do you want me to answer that?
Yeah, sure. So, if there's any kind of dispute, I assume everyone here sort of is familiar with peer-to-peer trading, but I'll give a bit of an overview just in case anyone's not familiar with it. So, essentially, when two people are trading on Localcoinswap or most other peer-to-peer platforms work in a similar fashion. The cryptocurrency portion is held by the platform, so in our case by Localcoinswap, and the fiat currency is paid directly from the buyer of the cryptocurrency to the seller, and that happens off the platform. And it could be via a whole variety of payment methods, whether it's by local bank transfer, cash in hand, or things like TransferWise, Skrill. Really, any payment method that people want to use can be supported. And once the seller confirms that they have received that fiat payment off the platform, then the cryptocurrency is released out of escrow and into the wallet of the buyer. And that wallet is on the platform as well. So if there's some kind of dispute and the seller says that they have not received payment for the cryptocurrency, for example, then what we do is we hold that cryptocurrency in escrow, and then we take information from each party so we can determine who the correct owner of that cryptocurrency is. So depending on the payment methods they use, there's a whole variety of them. And there's different sort of methods that we use to determine who is the correct owner. And most of the time that involves taking evidence from both sides, whether it's initially sort of looking at screenshots of payment receipts and things like that. But further down the track, if that isn't fruitful in sort of helping us come to a decision, we can take further action, like contacting payment providers. And there's sort of a whole process. I won't go into it because it's very detailed, but we have processes in place for all of the payment methods that we support in getting to the bottom of disputes.
Some of the processes that we've developed have leaned on our own experience as peer-to-peer traders, because actually Daniel and I have both done a fair bit of peer-to-peer trading before we started on this project. I was a trader for some years on local Bitcoins. So I've sort of been around the block a little bit when it comes to the ways that people try and fraud each other. I've kind of like seen it all. Like I've had people try some really clever stuff on me, and even though it kind of like sucked at the time, it was a really good learning experience for this project.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess the last part of that question would be the evidence that you gather in those resolutions or disputes, are those retained, and are those also subpoenaable? So if I say, hey, here's the money leaving my bank account, and I send you pictures of my bank account or anything like that.
No. Yeah, once the trade is over, we delete the information because it's not relevant to us anymore. So the dispute resolution information is only relevant to us determining where the escrow should go. So as far as we're concerned, the trade is out of our hands once the escrow is over. So if a dispute happens and then the escrow is released to one party, then we delete the information after that's happened. Otherwise, if both parties just consensually end the trade, then we finalize it there and then. But yeah, no, we don't hang on to any of that kind of information.
All right. And sorry I don't mean to badger you guys. Just one more question. What are the companies?
If I could
sorry. Yeah.
Go on. Sorry. Continue.
No, sorry. What are the company's personal policies on things like, say you see ISIS is trading on site, or known terrorist groups or child traffickers or anything like that? What steps do you guys do to protect things against that?
Yeah, honestly, we'd have a zero a zero tolerance policy. If we become aware of anything like that, like we have an obligation that, like obviously we're going to report it. If someone's trading like child pornography or like something like that on the platform, then we're not going to facilitate that kind of thing. So it hasn't happened, but in that kind of situation, like we're not, we're compliant with the laws of where we're incorporated. So we're not going to facilitate something like that.
All right. Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you, John. Does anybody else have any questions? Okay, I'm going to go with the ones that were submitted. And the first one is, will there be a fee for integrating Pivx within Localcoinswap?
So at Localcoinswap, we don't actually charge any fee for any of the projects that we implement. But we do have some expectations for integrating with different projects, and mainly that would be potentially some assistance on the integration, given that Pivx isn't a simple sort of ERC20 token. I haven't looked into the documentation at all, but if we have any questions on the integration, we would hopefully be able to have a point of contact at Pivx that we could sort of contact and rely upon to give us some information just to help with any points that we get stuck on with the integration. But sort of more importantly, which I think would offer a lot more value than a simple listing fee, would really be marketing support from your project. Given that we sort of have a real use case and a real differentiation from a lot of other exchanges on the market, we aim to be sort of the main crypto to Pivx provider for the exchange. So we're really looking for some marketing support in that and sort of announcements across different channels, and just an official fiat partner is probably more what we're looking for rather than any sort of fee.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, how long will it take to integrate Pivx?
I think this is probably a better answer that Nathan should take.
Like how long will it take? I haven't actually started the implementation, so I can't give an exact date, but I have implemented Dash already in the exchange. And I was talking to Carl the other day. He told me that in terms of implementation, it would probably be quite similar in difficulty. So given that, I don't think that there'll be any particular challenges in the implementation. I did throw out a date of 6 weeks, and that was sort of giving a lot of leeway to make sure that, any sort of last minute issues could be dealt with. But I'm confident on that date. When I did say that, Carl interrupted me and said, look, that's not how we want to work, which is fine with us. But I'm pretty confident that it won't be more difficult than the coins that we've already implemented. From what I've seen so far of the way that the code base works, there's not anything super funky that will throw up any challenges.
No, I don't think. I think it should be pretty straightforward. The next question is, what are the fees for using your service?
So on Localcoinswap, we charge a 1% fee on each trade, and that fee is only charged to the market maker of the trade. So anyone that puts an advertisement up to buy or sell Pivx, they're going to be charged a 1% fee on every trade they make. So the reason why the ad creator is the person that's charged the fee is because that allows them to price that fee into the prices that they're charging, whether that's for buying or selling. So if someone else comes onto the site just looking to respond to a trade to buy or sell Pivx, then there's no fees for them to do so. The price that they see on the site is the price that they get. But anyone creating ads as a market maker will be charged a 1% fee.
Okay. The final question is, would you be open to sharing some of those trading fees with the Pivx community?
If it comes to sharing fees, the way that our token structure works is that we actually distribute 100% of the profits from the Localcoinswap platform to our token holders. So we do this through a blockchain dividend application. So anyone that holds LCS will be receiving any profits that we make in the currencies that are made. So if people from the Pivx community are holding LCS tokens, then they will receive some of the profits of the Pivx tokens that are traded. But we can't actually give away any of the fees specifically external to that, because if we have an agreement with our token holders that all profits will be going to them.
Well, I guess to add to that, we could do it, but only if the community, if we could take that kind of thing to a community vote and get them to vote on it, if they were okay with it, then we could do it. But with the way that our governance works, we can't, for a decision like that, it would need to be voted on by the community of investors.
Excellent. All right. Thank you so much. Does anybody else have any questions for the guys at Local Coin Swap?
When Lambo?
Hopefully soon, as they say.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm assuming John feels the same way that I felt about this project after speaking to you guys. Okay, guys, is there anything else you want to add?
Oh, no, other than like what I said before, yeah, I'm quite excited to be part of this community. And I think even beyond like Local Coin Swap, there's personally a lot of value in it for me. Like just from my chat with Carl the other day, I'm sort of excited to be part of this community. And yeah, I'll be around I'll stay in it. And I guess I'll get involved beyond just my involvement with Local Coin Swap.
And I just wanted to thank you guys for having us on this call and letting us be part of this community.
I wanted to jump in just for a second, if you guys don't mind. And it's in regards to the Local Coin Swap. Do you guys have like a logo or a brand or some kind of identifier, like a seal that other, like if, let's say Zenzo or Pivx is on Local Coin Swap, that is placed on a website that kind of says, hey, this is, you can find them on so-and-so, or it's approved by?
Yeah, so we have our Local Coin Swap logo that we're happy to give out, and you can sort of put that on whatever website, whether it's the Pivx website, and say that Pivx is available to buy and sell. We don't specifically have sort of a graphic at the moment that suggests that, but we're happy to create something. That's, I think, something that could be valuable in the future, not just for this project, but for other projects that we list as well. So yeah, that's no problem. We can create something for you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, definitely just an idea, but appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem.
Quick question. Do you guys have a referral program or anything like that?
We do actually have a referral program. The referral program was one that was voted on by our community just recently, and we'll be implementing it on the hard launch. That's on February the 26th. So it hasn't begun yet, but on February 26th, you'll be able to sign up to Local Coinswap. And the referral bonus is dependent on your holdings of LCS tokens. So if you're holding over 50,000 LCS tokens, then you can get a 30% bonus for referring other people. So any fees that they pay, you'll get 30% back of those fees. So it's quite a generous referral program. It's competitive with some of the other biggest referral programs around. So yeah, if you jump on the site after hard launch, then you can join that referral program.
And to add to that, there's a 10% bonus for the person who's referred as well.
All right, nice. And do you guys have any plans to have a widget that you implement into coins websites where they can sort of initiate a trade right from another site?
I mean, that's quite a good idea. We haven't developed it yet, but I mean, I can definitely put something like that on the roadmap. I think, yeah, I do think that's a good idea.
All right, thanks for your time, gentlemen. I'll stop with so many questions now. Thank you.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, John. If you've got any more, you can, because we've reached the end anyway. So if you've got another one, you can fire it off.
I'll stew on it a bit and message the group chat here.
Okay, all right. Well, finally, guys, where can people go to find out more about Local Coinswap?
So the best place to find out more about Local Coinswap would be Local Coinswap itself. And our website is just localcoinswap.com. But we have a great group, both on Telegram and on Discord. So if you just go to t.me/localcoinswap, that's our Telegram group. It's really the main sort of congregating point for our whole community. But we've recently started a Discord as well. And I'm not sure of the exact Discord. I think I need the invite link, but I can share that in the sort of main Discord chat for Pivx here. So anyone that wants to sort of come over and join our Discord can do so there. We have a fair few people on Discord, but Telegram's definitely our most sort of lively community hangout spot.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions before we wrap up?
I thought of one more real quick.
Okay.
User insecurity. And have you noticed the trend of people trying to use your website as a wallet and not pulling their funds off immediately before and after use? And if so, what sort of security measures do you have in place? I assume like two-factor authentication and stuff like that.
Yeah, we have two-factor authentication, and we have a hot-cold model as well, where if you make a deposit to the site, it's going directly into a cold wallet. And then we have manual intervention is required to load the hot wallet. So, for example, to move funds between the cold wallet and a hot wallet, a hacker would actually have to trick a staff member into making that transfer. So we have that security aspect there. But in regards to your question about people using it as a wallet, yeah, surprisingly, like I didn't actually expect this before we did our soft launch, but there's actually like a surprising amount of people who appear to just be using the exchange as a wallet. Like I really wasn't expecting that, but we have had a lot of people who are just, sending money in and sending money out without actually making any trades.
Okay. Nathan or Daniel, was there anything else you'd like to say before we sign off?
I think that covers everything from my side. What about yourself, Nathan?
Yeah, I think that covers everything from me. But if you have any more questions that pop up later, then you can sort of reach out to me on Telegram or anywhere within our community. I mean, everyone's welcome there. So if you have any questions later, feel free to shoot them at me.
Should we put off pushing forward for an alliance or anything like that until after hard launch, or should we be aiming to have something put together and in the forums by the end of next week?
I think we're happy to sort of push forward sooner with the announcement, things like that, whenever you're ready. But in terms of the integration, that would definitely be sometime after hard launch. So I think we're pretty open in regards to that, as long as we have time to implement. With regards to sort of marketing, announcements, partnerships, we can go ahead at whatever pace suits Pivx best.
Yeah, I think we'll sort of need the time until hard launch for just platform development really, and final bug testing. And then as you said in our call, there's always that 1 to 2 weeks after hard launch where you just got to be around and sort of be on call to do last minute fix ups or deal with any bugs that crop up. So that's probably the only reason we'll have to wait a little bit for the actual integration.
Yes, yeah. I remember we spoke about that. Right. Okay. So luckily, I don't know if Rubarbarian has just arrived or if he's been here the whole time. But Rubarbarian is actually our branding guy, and currently our marketing guy as well at the same time. Jack of all trades. Rhubarb, are you there, or are you just? You are here. Rhubarb, what do you think
I'm here.
What do you think of Localcoinswap and joint marketing promotion with them around integration after their hard launch?
I think it'd be great, and that's one of the things I love when we get on an exchange or any kind of co-opportunity to promote each other. We love to co-market, so I'm excited to see something happen, and obviously more excited when there's a true alliance and a community. And I would like to say that it's great to see the Commonwealth community is just taking over. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Right. Also, Rubarbarian, before you get too patriotic, what would be the best way for these guys to contact you, or the best place for us to work together on branding? Where would be the best space to do it? Would it be in our Discord or? Yeah,
I think Discord's great. Initially, DM me. I just sent you guys a DM, so I think initially just do a direct message, and then we can create a sub channel that we can communicate with others. Get the others that are part of the marketing team and projects that are going on, whether because there's a number of us that are helping out. So as soon as there's some initial introductions and communication trade, I think we can set up a channel.
Yeah, I just got your message, so I'll send you a reply after this and look forward to collaborating.
Brilliant.
Guys, I have one more question for you real quick.
John.
Sure.
What is your policy on staking your wallets? So if a bunch of people deposit POS coins, do you guys stake those wallets or do you not stake those wallets?
Well, we actually don't have, we haven't actually encountered that situation yet, just because we haven't yet implemented a staking coin. We've got Dash, but we haven't set up a masternode sort of system within what we're doing. But we are open to something like that. It's definitely something that we are open to.
Did you just use the D word? Just kidding.
Okay, so you're open to it, but if we suggested that would probably not be a good idea, then you would take the advice on board either way, kind of thing. It's not something that you've planned on doing or not planned on doing.
Yeah, exactly. It's just it's not a situation we've had to sort of think about yet, just because it hasn't yet come up in our coin implementation. But yeah, we're not. If you told us don't do it, then obviously we'd take that advice on board.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume that would be John M's stance, but I'm gonna get clarification. John, is that your stance that it shouldn't be done?
Well, it depends. Something we run into, you can see as it grows, as exchanges get very, very large, their wallets become very, very powerful, and you just don't want those exchanges controlling too much of the stake weight on the network.
Yeah,
I don't
that's a good
see
point.
it immediately becoming an issue. I know some exchanges do it regardless, but it's just better to be transparent on whether it's happening or not instead of leaving the community to speculate is all. I personally don't mind either way.
Okay, so the message really is that I got from that is transparency is key either way, which is probably good because then we can discuss it and come to probably the most efficient outcome. But guys, yeah, thank you so much for donating your time and for joining the call. It's been absolutely great having you on. I'm going to give you one last chance to add anything if there's anything you think's been left out.
I think that covers everything from me. But yeah, as I said before, like if you come up with any questions after this, then just shoot them through. I'm happy to answer them.
Yeah, we're always pretty reachable across all of our sort of Localcoinswap social media pages. So feel free to anyone on this call to sort of jump in to any of our channels and reach out to us at any time.
We won't ghost you.
All right, thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you very much, guys. All right, I did notice that we did have Hannah on the call, who is our translations expert. I think she's gone now. And John M, obviously, we heard quite a lot from. I did want to get them actually in, but we ran out of time. So what I really want to do is have them on our next call, if that's all right with you, John.
Oh, I'm available. Yep.
Yeah, to explain what it is you do and how people can help you with exchange listings or kind of get out of your way with exchange listings. I'm going to set a date now, tentatively, for the next call, which will be in 4 weeks from now on the 10th of March. So that will be probably when the next call is. But yeah, everybody, thank you so much for taking the time out of your days to come along. A special thanks to Zenzo and Angelo and Localcoinswap. You guys have all really given a lot of information and it's very much appreciated. Thank you very much to anyone who's listening, and join the forums and you can be involved more in the budget proposals. Pivxcentral.org is another great place to go to find out things that are going on. But yeah, that's all for this month, and I'll be back next month. We'll all be back next month with the next budget proposals call. Thank you.
Thanks for organizing it.
Thanks, everyone.
Good job.
Thanks a lot.
Great turnout.